I feel like I have more regrets not doing something in the physical sense. Because not doing something in the physical sense is like you didn't even give an attempt. But at least if you vocalize on something, you gave your input. That was an attempt. You tried. I'm pretty sure you could have done better through multiple trial and errors to perfect it the way you would have wanted, depending if you're a perfectionist or not. But it's like, all right, after 5 tries, cool. I finally had it the way I wanted to be. So, but not doing something is always going to be something that's going to be in the back of your head, like dang, dang, dang. So, I would at least make the attempt on doing something rather than feeling the pressure of never touching up on that. You have to be like in a chill point of view, but then there are people who capitalize when they're like tense and pressed. So it's like you could really capitalize in different settings. So I can't even. I guess now you made me think that capitalizing on something, it really depends on that person's mindset to take advantage of a situation. I could have I said that 2020 2021 should have been my time to invest in podcast equipments and start rolling, because that would have been a year after I graduated. And if I really locked in and thought about my life deep enough, it would have gave me the urge to jump up on it. But then again, the pandemic acted as a distraction because now you don't even know when your last breath may be. So it's hmm.
Well, how do you handle that conflict when you know you need to like strategize?
Well, I'm a deep thinker, so I feel like I'm the type that learns after something has already happened. Cause then it's like I could be deep with my thoughts and then think 100 different ways on how that could have happened. So with that being said, um, I feel like I'm a better learner through trial and error. Missing on an opportunity will get to me. It will hunt me more. But to perfect my skills on something, it would have to be through the trial and error method. The trial and error would have been over, I feel like, no more than 2 years later.
But you haven't had a trial and error. Like this is your trial.
Yeah, this is my trial. But at the same, but even though you may feel like I'm not having any errors, to me it's like trial and error still. Because it's like maybe there's no error since I'm treating it like a professional. There was an experience where someone grabbed me and they were like, let's just get some pictures taken. Like, we feel like you need this. And I was like, wait, what? Like, you tripping. But they were like, no, dude, like, let's do this. And we just went to an area. They had me try these different clothes and click, click, click. They took pictures of me. And I didn't think of it much. But then it's like when they came out, even though they didn't do it on a high quality camera, and that's one of the biggest regrets. Is just like, dang, I just wish this individual was already up and popping with, I guess, his equipment tools. Because if I would have seen the tools, it would have motivated me to jump more in that field. But it's like I don't. I guess that's why you could tell someone something, but if that's person you're trying to say that lesson to is not seeing the vision, if he's not seeing what you're trying to get him to do, he won't feel motivated. He won't feel invited. So you're trying to get pictures taken of me. So you're seeing a vision, but then I'm seeing how you are as a character. Because before I even started seeing the equipments, I'm seeing the character of the person. It's just like, dang, this character, the character of the person needs.
So when someone's established, it's like a no-brainer. Like it's like
Yeah, the person established, and then you got the tools. It's like I'm with it. Like even though I'm not seeing your vision, it's like if you have a project for me that can help me, I'm with it. But then the person at the time that wanted me to model, I don't know if they wanted me to model, but they had the vision. They didn't tell me they wanted me to model, but it's like, come here. They just grab me, and it's just like, we're gonna put these clothes on me. It's almost like a big brother. It's just like, yo, if little brother just asks these questions, yo, whatever, you're irrelevant. But just know I'm trying to help you out. If I would have seen that this guy, I didn't see that he had a high quality personality. If I would have seen a personality with a If I would have seen a presidential personality, the professionalism would have been there on top of the tools that were used to get these pictures done. I would have been invited. I would have been like, yo, this guy. Then, because that was around 2020, 2021. If this guy would have shown me right in there, that would have pushed me into that field sooner rather than 4 years after the pandemic where I'm trying to get started. Because then I would have been a pro if this guy would have shown me, if this guy would have presented himself in a better light. I had the natural looks for it because it was something I was told my whole life. Like, hey, but it's something I always ignored. It's something I always overlooked. But then when this guy finally like told me, like, hey, just I wasn't even knowing that I was gonna do that day. And the more people seen it, they were approving of it, which shocked me. I'm like, you guys really think this is dope? And they were like, yeah, who took this? And it's just shocking that this could have been, the pictures could have turned out to be way better if it was done on a high HD camera. I mean, I could have been on the cover or something. If this, but see, again, that's why I feel like this guy, if he was more professional, whereas like the character, the personalities there, the professionalism, and then on top of that, you got the equipments. And me seeing that, that's like if LeBron comes to you, you're not questioning nothing. It's like, I'm following you. Similar to how when Jesus told Matthew, drop everything, follow me. Matthew didn't question, Matthew just followed. So if this individual had that type of aura, where it's like, you want me to do this, it's like he wanted to Matthew me, but I wasn't seeing that Jesus aura. And it's like, dang, I followed for a quick minute, the pictures were done, but then I went back to my regular way of living because it's just like he sees something that I'm not seeing. Forget it.
So because of he's not being established, you didn't capitalize in that moment, but how do you choose to capitalize now without that person?
Well, now I'm older, and now I've seen multiple people's opinions on what that dude should have told me then. Because those people telling me they're professional, they have a way with words. So now I'm looking back at it like, dang, dude, why didn't, this could have benefited him too. Imagine the number of people that felt like how I felt. Like, dang, I wanna buy into this. Like, I'm feeling something, but it's like I'm not seeing enough. So it's just like, dang, like, forget it.
So you couldn't capitalize on something because he wasn't capitalizing on something.
Yeah, it's like I can't buy into what you're buying if I'm not seeing the fruits of what you're selling. Like right now I'm seeing seeds, I'm not seeing fruits. And
So he showed you there's a seed already though.
he showed me the seed without showing me any signs of fruits that could potentially labor later on. And I guess I was still young and immature to see what the fruits could have been. But I feel like if he presented himself better, I could have foreseen the fruits. But it's just like his image just made me think like, like you're potentially a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, I'm not buying into this fruit. This could be a fruit that could deceive me later on.
So to his credit, what do you say now though? Yo, you show me something about me.
Yeah, you showed me something, but at the same time, I just wish you would have branded yourself not like a deceptive, sneaky guy, antichrist-like figure, but it's like I just wish you presented yourself how you yourself want to be presented. Because I'm pretty sure there are a couple people that probably felt like how I felt. Like I like the guy, but there's just something about him that just makes me not wanna. Yeah. Out of all the people who work with him, with this particular guy, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who felt like that. And I'm older, which is why I'm looking back at it like he was right but he should have just shown me more. So I do, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that the way you present yourself, it means a lot. Because people may see you one time, and it's like based on what you say and how you present yourself, may just gravitate them.
right? So it's like, but what would I do if I had this? So it's like when the dude came for you, and it's like I don't know why he's coming at me. It's like little big brother, little brother, but he saw something in you. So the learning curve is like it was you. It was him looking at you, and it's like, you know what would happen if I put you on camera? It's like he saw something.
But he didn't say it though. He didn't say like, "Hey, Andrew, you should model." It's like, I guess the world doesn't work like that. Even God is not gonna directly tell you something. It's like He's gonna use people to tell you stuff. And I feel like this guy, he was trying to tell me that without openly telling me. And I feel like I would have interpreted the message better if he would have presented himself in a better image, because then I could have helped relationships I've been in. That could have helped me. So it's just like, tell me what you see the potential in me having, so that I could save myself from drowning, going through a whole trial and error, and then coming back on top of the surface, and then realizing like, oh, this is what I should have been doing.
So when does it become you? Like it's like your effort.
Um, I guess with Stefan, he was one of the few people who directly told me like I could really, like I'm talented enough to progress my talents in basketball. Like it was said directly, but with me being young minded, I never took it as serious. I guess there were cultural factors built in too, because it's like my whole life is just like being raised in a background that's all strong in academics. It's like, yeah, like it's almost like, thank you for telling me that I could do this, but no thank you. And then I'm getting older, I'm like, dang, like yeah, now I'm looking back at, because this person whose name I'm not trying to state, he's one of two people, two main individuals that really, if Stefan gave me the T directly, this guy gave me the T indirectly. And it's just like, I guess that was, God's involvement, because it's like, this guy gave you T directly, you didn't listen. Now, I guess I'm going to use a guy indirectly to try to wake you up, like, and it still didn't hit. So, I can't blame these individuals eventually, because it's like two different methods by two different people. Um, I can't blame these people. It's just eventually I do gotta blame myself. My lack of awareness, and it also shows that my lack of not being in the Bible. Because let's say I was into the Word, I would have interpreted those signs. Not awareness on the world's standards, but God's awareness. So if I was into the Word, boom, God would have gave me that T, where it's like, do this. But when you're not into the word, you're not being hit directly. It's gonna take time for things to be processed, and it's not until you're into the word that you realize stuff that you missed out on, and you like, dang, like, so eventually, like, worldly Andrew would blame these individuals, but it's just like, it's really me at the end of the day for not being into the word, for me to be aware enough to interpret it as like, yo, like, this is my calling, dive into it. But now I know for sure photography and journaling were always like paths I was meant to do. Um, like even as a kid, now looking back at it, it's just like, yeah, bro, like no matter how much I was gonna further in school, it was always gonna be like, I'm just furthering disappointing. I'm just further disappointing my true self. I could collect 5 more degrees, and it's just like, um, I'm not feeling this. So eventually, it was always going to end up tying back to this. So I'm at least grateful knowing I'm doing this now.
Mm.
They would have told me directly, get this, get these tools.
Well, in his world, he did tell you directly, but because of his status, you couldn't take serious.
Yeah,
He did, bro. He was like,
he was desperate, but I just wish I was able to see what he saw, and I would have been able to see it.
yeah,
I gotta interpret what you're even telling me, and it would have been interpreted if I was on my godly flow. So it's just like at the end of the day, it just shows you that you could be like a Jonah, where it's like I'm called to do this, but then I'm gonna go this way, and no matter how far you try to go the opposite way, you're always gonna be turned back to that way. But then you just gonna look back at the time spent that was lost, and that's when you're really gonna tweak. Cause then it's like if I jumped on it, if I jumped modeling when the guy put the camera on me and he would have gave me the T, and I could have potentially been where it's like I'm no longer a rookie. Like I know the in and outs of this field, and like people are coming to me. You know you're doing something right when people are coming to you, and you don't gotta go to them. So he would have just like he's coming to me to help me, and even if he's no longer in my life, it's like, you know, I'm killing it in the game so much now. People are coming to me for advice and assistance, and that's how much influence he could have had. But when you don't present yourself with abilities to shine, it's just like, yo, like get me out of this dungeon. Basically, like similar to Joseph, like get me out this dungeon. Joseph's ability to get him out the dungeon was his ability to interpret dreams. My ability to get me out the dungeon is
just breathe.
my voice. Yeah, bro. Like my ability to look on camera and through looks. So it's just like this guy was just a stone. It's just like, yeah, I think that's why I just didn't buy it. I buy into it. It's like, yeah, man, this whatever. So it's just like, yeah, man, like maybe he wasn't meant to further in it, but it's just like to paint an image such as me. It's just like, dang, dude, like MJ motivated Kobe. LeBron is motivating people like Anthony Edwards. So it's just like there's always someone that's going to motivate you, and then you're going to motivate the next set of generation, etc., etc. So it's just like this guy is just like, man, I'm a late bloomer because of the image he failed to portray. It's just like, so that's one lesson I'm gonna take forever. It's just like make sure you portray yourself how you would want others to, like. It's just like, man, you taking our hard-earned money and you're giving it to the enemy, and they like you, they favor you because so we don't really rock with you. So he was going through a crisis. So now I gotta uplift me from. I was required to uplift myself from that crisis, and then look back and be like, dang, this guy was really the figure that could have done it for me. Yeah, dude, I could speak.
Yeah.
That's why I see sometimes why when kids ask for photographs from these athletes, it's just like some of these athletes act like jerks. But sometimes it's just like you doing that. Even if the kid loses access to whatever that was signed, you painted an image in their head that like, I could do whatever I pursue in life. He could have signed my autograph, and it's just like, yeah, like he basically folded on himself. And I guess when I rescued myself, because I was plunging at the time that he told me what he told me, but then when I got on top of the surface, I'm looking back like, dang, this guy, like I wasn't trying to plunge this deep. I wasn't trying to plunge 50 deep underneath, swim back to the surface and realize that this is what he was trying to do. And it's just like, yeah, bro, like time wasted, relationships lost. Yeah, dude. So it's just like, I just feel, I do admit it helped me become a better person. I wouldn't have been low when it comes to immature. I would have been like, yeah, you immature, but we understand you. We feel you. And yeah, man. You finally see what I was trying to tell you. And I would be like, yeah, I finally saw it. I feel like with basketball, I would need household support because it's like, what happens if I pursue professional basketball programs on how you play, like for them to be invested in having you on board on their club. So that right there, you can't do it solo because there are people who went undrafted who play overseas, but there's footage on how they hoop, like they're making millions overseas. I'm not saying I would have went to the league, but it's like my talents I could have been playing in the Euro League, the Turkish leagues, somewhere, even in Africa, somewhere, Russia. There's the CBA in China. Professional basketball is basketball. Just because it's not in the NBA don't mean it's an L. Professional basketball is worldwide. So it's like, my talents could have took me somewhere. It's just, but I feel like with him, I would need household support because it's not just, you making it happen. You need a team recording you as you're hooping for you to get footage on. There's always alternative options into being successful. So with him, I was a team when all this was being said. But with this other guy that I'm describing, because the guy was combative, I do have to admit, like me and him, we always had tension on the low. You know how when someone knows you're aware and observant and knowledgeable, and another guy who's just the same, instead of recognizing that, they're just gonna like beef with you. I think that was my relationship with him. So now looking back at it, I don't think he was the type that was gonna tell me like, yo, Andrew, you should do this. Since he was always like an antagonist, he was always like, like he won't tell you directly. It's like if he does tell you, it's always gonna be like subliminal messages, because we're low key like have different energies. So yeah, I didn't realize that till now. Like our different auras, we're just gonna, whether you're tired, you're sick, it's just like, yo, this gotta get done. And when I'm doing this, I feel like time is not being wasted. I don't feel like I'm rushing. I could be recording. It could be 3 a.m. and I gotta work at 7. I'll get up at 7, not even regretting the amount of time I spent a couple hours recording, just because it's like, this is gonna lead me somewhere. So, well, the fam, they're gonna view it more as a hobby because Africans are more like Black Asians. So it's just like, we just believe in one core thing. But even though they believe in that one core thing, which is just academics or nothing, I've been given the talks that I have a voice and I have looks. So I guess it's up to me. Extremely high passion, and it's like, I'm doing my passion while someone is making me money. Like as long as I'm doing my passion and the money, the money that person is making me is gonna go towards like paying bills and getting things that I need.
So the convo guy has to be invested.
Most likely, definitely. I agree. I agree. Just hold it down. Just like stay down. Whatever that's making you money, just stay down.
Down like how everything else is down.
Yeah, just stay down.
No, bro, like that's your choosing. But if this dude was gonna lead you, bro, it's like he couldn't lead himself. So it's like grilling that guy is like, nah, bro. But low key, shout out to you for showing me something. Yeah, because at any time this could shut down, the operation is like, yo, you know what? I actually want to become a painter and paint portraits. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, bro, you saw what this time already did. So it's like, bro, at any time, it's like it's always just been all you.
Oh, that's deep. So you can't blame the individual that introduced you to an idea. It depends on you to take it further. Or I feel like something you should talk about next. The next post convo guy, you should talk about like that jail incident. Who's so locked up? Yeah, dude, you should talk about that because that'll be dope. And just like the mindset they'll have, and it's just like if they were to give an advice on someone that's just
has time.
Yeah, bro, it's just like, yo, let it go, bro. Like, oh, you're in a relationship, you think about this girl, like, yo, like it don't matter. Yeah. You should talk about that. Because then it's deep, because then we could talk about like how someone that's locked up feels like individuals out here in society should utilize their time
They're low key locked up too.
Let's say someone that was given life, and it's like, bro, they were just to be released, bro. They would never sleep. They will be on like, yo, I gotta work. I gotta like working, and then it's like outside of work, I'm doing something. But that's if they're passionate. But it's just like, yo. So in a way, I also gotta have that mindset where it's like work, and then like utilize the second half of my freedom outside of work to just like do stuff that pertain to me. So right now I'm even thinking about what to talk about for like the next 10 topics. It's just like, yeah, bro. So I'm always trying to be like ahead.